everyone, it's Jill Foster with you today, and I have a little bit different video. You're actually looking at my face and not just my hands. And I'm making this video to talk to you a bit about art journaling. So if you are looking for me to actually be creating an art journal page, I will have a link in the YouTube description box below to a video where I'm doing that. So if you don't want to listen to me jammering on and on, you can just click that link and it'll take you right there. I am really excited about the newest release from Penny Black called Artistic Endeavors, because within this release there are some stamps that are perfectly suited for art journaling. And for me, this is really what has moved something art journaling that's been on my bucket list, off of the bucket list and finally onto the art table. So before I go any further, I just want to say that this is my personal interpretation of art journaling. It's something that I am just beginning to do myself, and there are really so many ways to look at this subject. So this is just my personal views and my experience so far that I'm sharing in hopes to provide inspiration or ideas for you. First, let's start by talking about what is art journaling. And art journaling is simply creating art in a bound journal, or it could be on loose paper, or really it could be anywhere. And for me, art journaling is about two things primarily: playing and having fun. And for some reason, I think that art journaling, because for me it was about playing and having fun, that is why I hesitated to start, which doesn't make sense because playing and having fun are great reasons to start something. But I was thinking, why would I take a lot of time to make something that I wouldn't do anything with, that I wouldn't give as a card or use as home decor? But in order to get started with my art journal, I really needed to give myself permission to spend time and to do this just for the simple fact that it is for play and that it is for fun. And I found this really freeing when I started creating in the art journal, because I knew what I was making was just for me. It was more about the time and the process in doing it than the end result. So if something turned out terrible, it didn't matter because I still had fun creating it and I wasn't needing to do anything with it. So I could try a technique and learn from that without any pressure of what the end product looked like. So this leads me to my next thought: why art journaling? Well, besides the fact that it's play and just fun, I think there are also some added benefits. It allows for experimentation with new techniques like trying new stamps, coloring mediums, color combos, layout ideas, etc. It's practice, so I think my art improves the more I do it, and art journaling is a fun way with no pressure to practice. There's freedom in art journaling. You can find what pleases you and what you love, and it's fun to look back over the pages and start to see your personal style emerge. And it's a great stress relief. I hope to set a time each week to do an art journal page or layout, and I know I will enjoy looking forward to that time during the busy week, and also be thinking about and planning what I hope to do. The next thing I will talk about a little bit in this video is tools and supplies. So the first thing to talk about really is what to use as a journal. And what I'm using is the Delusions by Ranger Creative Journal. So this is what I'm starting with. And I chose this for a couple of reasons. The first is I wanted something that was bound so that I could over time go back and see sort of my style emerge and see the pages, the progression of the pages. I also really like the size of the pages. So these are 5 by 8, and so you'd get a 10 by 8 spread when you're doing a 2-page spread. And for me, that was a good size as a stamper looking to incorporate my stamps onto the page. That was a great size for me. But there is really no limit to what you pick for your journal. You could use an old book. You can use loose pieces of paper. I've done a few pages where I just use watercolor paper and then I can bind them later. Something else you might really enjoy if you are looking to use something and add a lot of really wet mediums and bulk to your pages. This is by Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft, and I've done some journal pages on these. They are double-sided journal boards, which you can then bind together at the end, and they're also a great size for using stamps with. I love stamping, and this is the type of art I want to create in my journal. And like I said before, this new release from Penny Black called Artistic Endeavors has a collection of larger size stamps perfect for art journaling. And these beautiful images are really what motivated me to take the leap and start art journaling. I also love that this is a manageable grouping of stamps and not too overwhelming. So we'll take a look at them here. These two faces are so fun. They can be used as is, but they're also created with simple lines that allow you to easily alter the images to make them their own, and you can make multiple pages with them. I love these two sets of flowers. You can use them with the portrait stamps you just saw, or you can use them alone. They're also a great size and design. I adore butterflies, so these will probably be on all my pages. I also can't wait to make a page stamping all 3 butterflies to cover the background. And the leaves are a staple, and they coordinate well with all the style of all the other flowers. And often if a page looks unfinished to me, it usually needs some subtle visual interest. And these 3 background stamps are perfect for that. Again, their size makes them a good fit for the art journal. Finally, here are a few older Penny Black stamps, which are also larger in size and a great fit for art journaling. I've used these on a couple pages and love how they look with the new collection, so I just also wanted to point these out too. So here's a look at a page where I've used these images. I've customized the girl's hair and dress, and just to note, those little dots on her hair is something I saw Angela Kennedy do. She's a great artist, and so I just wanted to give her credit. I love that idea. I've I've stamped the page also with floral images and embellished with a butterfly and added that subtle script background stamping. So if you're loving these stamps as much as me and thinking of starting an art journal, I just wanted to share a few more tools that I'm finding useful that you may find useful as well. There are 2 types of primers I like to use to get my pages ready before I begin stamping. The first is absorbent ground. This dries to make the surface of the journal page more absorbent, more porous, and paper-like. I like the look this gives when I use it with my watercolors, pastels, and my sprays. The second is gesso, and gesso dries to make the surface of the journal page non-porous, so the colors sort of dance and sit on top of the gessoed surface. I like the look this gives with my acrylic paints and also with my gelatos. Gesso is also nice for achieving a whitewash look over backgrounds and text that have been stamped. To stick down items on the page, I use a couple of different adhesives. Gel medium and decoupage medium are the 2 that I'm using. I simply paint them on the item on the back and also a layer on top, and then I can put them in my page. I have 2 types because the gel medium on the left is a thick consistency, which I like for heavier papers, and the decoupage medium is a bit thinner. These can also be used to seal something you've made on your page, so more layers can be added on top without re-blending the layers below. It's also really fun to add texture to your journaling pages. To do this, I like to use 2 products from Shimmers. The first is called Textures, and I have it in the color Tidy Whitey. And this one, this is like a modeling paste, but it has a built-in, see if I can get this up here for you to see, kind of a sandy texture to it. So it has a lot of texture built in, and you can put this through a stencil, or I have done a page where I just put this around the edges, and when I added my color on top, you could really see all of those different textures as a part of that. And then the other that I like to use is called Dazzlers, and this is sponge sugar, so it's just the white, but both of these come in all kinds of great colors. And this is very smooth and very shimmering. And oh, this just goes beautifully through a stencil. It is really lovely. And then the mediums on top really sit nicely on top. You can colorize it, but it also, because it's so shimmering, will resist a little bit. So it's fun to put it down and then add your paint or your other colors on top. And here's a look at a page where I use those textures in addition with some penny black dyes and stamping. You can use any type of coloring mediums in your journal pages. And I say use what you have, or it's a great place to try out things you've been really wishing to give a try. I'm on a watercolor kick right now, so I've really been using my watercolors, my pastel pencils, and distress inks quite often in my journal pages. Here are some additional items. I use 2 simple sets of brushes and palette knives for Ranger, and so far this seems to be enough for me. And I find when working in the art journal, if I want to speed up the drying process for paints and other mediums, that I like to use an old hair dryer instead of my heat tool. I feel like this helps things dry quickly, but does not get so hot as to warp the pages or cause too much bubbling. But of course, if I'm embossing though, I would use my heat tool. I thank you so much for watching today. I hope this video inspires you to give art journaling a try. I highly recommend this new line of penny black stamps as a really great starting place if you're new to art journaling, and I look forward to showing you new step-by-step videos using them. I've linked to one such video in the YouTube description box below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. You can also find us on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and on the Penny Black website, all of which will be linked below in the YouTube description box.